Even though Mario games are usually pretty simple experiences that are straightforward and easy to understand, at times, Nintendo hides certain things from the players that they might not even see even though they fully completed the game. One of these that I want to look at in today's video are secret features that are not apparent to the players at all, going through exactly how they function and what you need to do to have them activate. Some of these you'll see I didn't even know about, and I've been playing all of these titles for years. So I hope you enjoy this, and if you do, then know my name is Copycat, and subscribe to my channel, hitting that bell to stay notified when I upload new videos. The very first entry in the mainline series is Super Mario Bros. That came out for the NES in 1985, having a really useful feature that's not even present in the game's manual, in being able to avoid starting over from the beginning after getting a game over. This is most likely a developer testing tool, which allows you to go back to the first level of the world that you're currently in, rather than going back all the way to World 1-1, where all you have to do is press start and hold A as soon as the game over screen appears. This is something that was only revealed in the official player's guide in 1987, but I'm sure that some people must have found out about it by accident before that. The second installment of the original NES trilogy came out in North America in 1988, having two somewhat-ish unknown features I want to mention, starting with being able to use the mushroom blocks to shield yourself from fire attacks. This becomes extremely useful, specifically during the Tri-Clyde boss fights of World 2-3 and 6-3, as stacking a bunch of them up together is your best strategy, as then you can just pluck each block easily while being safe. This really is just a simple game mechanic that some of you might have already known about or experienced accidentally, although I do still think it's worth noting in this video. Next is one that I'm actually surprised many of my friends didn't know about when I was growing up, even though they played the game a lot, is the squat charge jump, which is performed by holding down on the D-pad until your character starts to glow. Once you release, you'll launch high up in the air and can reach some spots that are usually hard to get to, something that is in the game's manual, so either people got their copy secondhand or just didn't bother to read it. Honestly, this actually was a problem with early games, as adding a tutorial would take up too much of its memory, so everything you need to know is in the manual, which you better skim through at least. The final of the original NES trilogy was released for the system in 1990, having a few secretive features that I want to showcase, starting with a way to always get a star when triggering the goal at the end of a stage. This is done by approaching it running as fast as you possibly can, then by jumping just at the bottom left corner of the block, which for some reason always produces a star. Of course, if you get 3 stars in a row, then you're rewarded with 5 extra lives, which can be a great help in this pretty hard game. And once you get the hang of this method, you shouldn't really ever get a game over. Next, I want to mention one of my favorite little known features, where you can actually use a secondary whistle to warp while you're inside of the warp zone, allowing you to reach all the way to World 8. This can be done super fast, as 2 whistles can be found right away in World 1, and involves needing to pull off another unknown feature to get it, which is being able to get behind the scenery. This can be done on pretty much any white platform in the game, but in this case it's needed to be done in World 1-3. Here just by ducking, where you eventually phase through it behind the stage, where you then can run towards the end and find the insanely hidden Toad house that gives you the item. Now, there may have been a few other features that I left out that could have been worth mentioning, so let me know in the comments if you think I missed one. The first handheld game of the franchise is Super Mario Land that came out for the Game Boy in 1989. That actually has a feature I had no clue about, and have played this game almost hundreds of times at this point, in the ability to select stages. However, this only appears as an option to you once you've beaten the game twice in a row, where you then see you can press A in the stage select menu to change it to whatever level you want. Now, on an old system like this, there was no save feature, meaning once you turn everything off, you have to begin from scratch and do everything all over again if you want the same options available. So it's only good if you for some reason really want to replay a specific stage, of course, after beating the game twice in a row. Next up is the true Japanese sequel to the classic original, only released in North America years later under the title of The Lost Levels in the Super Mario All-Stars SNES collection. which has a method of always being able to get lives at the end of levels, which is a must in this grueling experience. To have this work, you have to have a coin total that's a multiple of 11, then jump on the flagpole when the last digit on the timer is the same number, which gives you one single life. This is something I'm sure many people pulled off by accident, and probably didn't understand exactly how it worked at the time, but knew something was up. Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System was the next release in the series, having two actually very hidden features I want to look at, beginning here with being able to replay already completed castle stages. When I was a kid, I thought that this was absolutely impossible, but as an adult filming these videos, I found out that all you have to do is press L and R while Mario's on top of one of these ruined castles in the overworld. Again, which is helpful for me, as otherwise I wouldn't be able to film certain levels that easily. I looked and I couldn't find this mentioned anywhere in the game's manual, but one that is in there that I just want to quickly touch on is the ability to look around the overworld map, simply done by just pressing start. This is cool as you can look ahead and see your desired path, and whether or not you might be missing secrets. Kinda useful, but really just a novelty and not super needed. Nintendo would come out with a sequel to the original handheld Game Boy entry, titled Super Mario Land 2, The 6 Golden Coins, also for the system. Where really the only feature from it I somehow always glossed over, even though it's not necessarily that hidden, is the casino. Here, you can bet 30 coins, 50 coins, 200 coins, or 999 coins as a gamble for winning prizes, ranging from average power-ups all the way to a massive 99 lives. Now again, this is gambling, so you can lose big if you go all in and bet everything away, getting either only a small prize, or spinning a witch, which is an instant loss. This isn't something I really focus on, as I always felt like getting lives in this game was easy enough, especially with the bonus games. Plus, I'm not a huge gambler, as I always tend to lose whenever money is involved. The prequel/sequel to Super Mario World would come out for the SNES in the form of Yoshi's Island, where I swear for the longest time I didn't realize you could lock your egg attack instead of having it constantly move. To do this, you just have to press A to trigger the attack, then the R button to lock it whenever it's in whichever position you want, which is much more straightforward than what I thought was this mechanic. Honestly, this is all my fault for just not really paying attention to the tutorial blocks, as I guess I just wanted to figure things out for myself and didn't realize I was just being dumb. The first game in the franchise to be based within the 3D realm is Super Mario 64 for the N64. Having two animal-based features I'm sure many of you didn't know about, starting with one that I always use to my advantage in the owl. This was only found in a specific tree within the Whomp's Fortress stage, but once you awaken it from its slumber, then you can jump towards it and get grabbed by the bird's talons, taking you upwards in the air. Once you're up there, he'll take you throughout the course where you can drop yourself down to a platform that's usually unreachable, making things like the 8 red coin challenge and getting the star located in the caged area much easier. The other I want to talk about are the butterflies. Specifically how they react if you punch certain ones, as they have a chance of turning into a 1-up, or a bomb that chases you and explodes. Honestly, these are such tiny, insignificant things that I just never thought about interacting with them. But randomly, certain ones do actually have some function, so check it out for yourself. One feature from Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube that I think was supposed to be more prevalent, but was cut majorly from the final title, is the water bottles, which was meant to be an easy way to restore water to your FLUDD. Now, like I said, even though these were in the promotional materials, they weren't really found in the main game itself, only showing up during the Boo boss battle of Hotel Delfino on Serena Beach, appearing randomly in bubbles as I guess just a way to ensure you never run out of water. I'd expect these were removed from the game as testers realized they weren't exactly necessary and you didn't ever really run out of water that quickly, and in an attempt to save memory, these would be first to go. Nintendo would eventually return the series to its 2D roots with New Super Mario Bros. For the dual screen system, having two features that were looked at in past videos, but I'm going to show them off again anyways, in challenge mode and in your ability to play as Luigi, both require you to input a series of controls to get them to activate, where with the challenge mode one, you first need to complete the game, then on the map screen press L, R, X, X, Y, and then Y. This tougher mode doesn't allow you to scroll backwards at all, and if you aren't careful, you will get squished and lose a life. Now for spawning in and playing as Luigi, the only way to do this is go to the File Select menu, and hover over the file you want to play, then press L, R, and A, which then lets you be the green lanky bro. Here though, there's no actual difference between the characters other than the color of their outfits, which is a bit disappointing, but I guess on the other hand, they didn't even have to include it, so this is a bonus. In the Space Super Mario Galaxy Nintendo Wii entry, the feature I'm going to look at is actually a move I didn't know about, although it can only be pulled off if you're playing with someone else. I always thought the main objective of Player 2 was just to collect star bits and fire them at enemies to temporarily immobilize them. But apparently they can also assist Player 1 in jumping much higher than normal by pressing A just after Mario does his normal jump. This then allows you to get way higher than you normally should, something that can help you in certain situations, especially if there's somewhere higher up you want to get to. The next installment of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series came out for the Wii in 2009, where throughout all of my playthroughs, I actually never knew you could re-enter Peach's castle right away in World 1 and view hit movies that are supposed to help you out on your adventures. These actually show you some wild secrets, like how to complete levels certain ways, find very hidden star coins, or how to pull off the infinite lives exploits, which is interesting as it shows how the developers knew people would look for them. The downside to viewing these is that it costs one whole star coin, which is a lot, but can be worth it if you want to learn absolutely everything about the game. The sequel to the Wii Space entry came out for the system in 2010, which also has a 2-player mode, but here things are a bit different, as the second player controls the Luma, being able to do different things to aid Mario. Now again, I thought this just included being able to collect star bits, but here you're also able to immobilize enemies by pressing A when you're on them, then shaking your Wiimote to defeat them, being able to collect items like coins and power-ups for Mario, and being able to trigger switches, which is a great change from the pretty rudimentary things you could do in the first game. Nintendo would blend aspects together of the series' 2D and 3D realms with the release of Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS, where there's one feature I discovered by myself just randomly when I was playing in the test demo room. This can only be gotten to by being AFK, away from your system, for 42 seconds, which then transports you to a room that looks really cool in stereoscopic 3D. Although there's not much else to do here, and there's not exactly anything to complete. I appreciate that this exists, as it definitely is a surprise I wasn't expecting, although I do wish it led to a little bit more, maybe some sort of secret Easter egg or collectible. The third installment of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series came out for the 3DS and was oddly given the name of only being the second entry, which is confusing but whatever. Where here there's one feature that I never used and only vaguely knew existed in the Street Pass mode. Here, the objective was to challenge other people's coin totals who you've come in contact with via the Street Pass feature on the system, playing a few levels and trying to up your totals like crazy. If you do end up winning, then you'll be given a crown coin, which is worth 1,000 regular coins. Plus, this adds to your worldwide total on the official website, that apparently was a thing at the time I didn't even know about as well. The final installment of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series came out for the Wii U in 2012, having a very interesting feature with the Mii characters that you can play as, being the costume that they end up wearing. If the Mii is in the Player 1 slot, then you'll see them sporting the classic Mario colors. If they're in the Player 2 slot, then you'll notice they'll start looking a lot like Luigi. In the Player 3 slot, they'll actually dress as Wario, which is surprising as he isn't even in this game. And finally, in the Player 4 slot, your Mii will begin to dress a bit like Waluigi, but instead with a blue shirt and dark blue overalls. Next up is Super Mario 3D World, which was first released on the Wii U, that would later be re-released on the Switch, which includes a very hidden minigame which allows you to play a modified version of the original Mario Bros. Arcade title. Here, this has been reskinned as Luigi Bros in celebration of Year of Luigi, unlocked either by being the main game, or by having a new Super Luigi U save file on your system's memory, giving you access to this classic arcade experience. Other than a few color swaps, everything here is basically the exact same, with your goal being to defeat all enemies on screen and last through as many stages as you possibly can. Next to be released is the enormous Super Mario Odyssey Nintendo Switch entry, having one feature I didn't realize you could abuse endlessly during your playthroughs, in its amiibo functionality. Apparently all you need to do is have the Peach amiibo, and you can spam it and use it in-game to spawn endless amount of hearts for you to collect, meaning it's nearly impossible for you to run out of hit points, and therefore making it very tough to kill you. Other amiibos do varying different things that also can be useful to you, so experiment with what you have, as it will help you throughout the different kingdoms. Bowser's Fury is an interesting game as it was not a full release and was bundled alongside the re-release of Super Mario 3D World for the Switch, where I want to mention a few catified features that are hidden within this weird world of Lake Lapcat. First is what happens when you collect every single cat shine in the game, which hilariously changes Bowser Jr. into a cat version of himself, really fitting the aesthetics of this feline setting. The other is what can happen to the wild cats in this place if you yourself are in cat form via the Super Bell power-up, as they begin to warm up to Mario and nuzzle up to him as if he was one of their own. Otherwise, if you're just in Mario's normal form, then they're usually scared and back away from you. A great detail that didn't need to be added by developers, but they did it anyways for people like us to find. The final game we're going to look at in this video, and the most recent to come out in the series, is Super Mario Bros. Wonder for the Switch, which has a secret coin-based stage titled Bonus Coins Galore. This will only appear if you've gotten the game over, or if you've beaten the final battle, Bowser's Rage stage, taking you to a place that's an auto-scroller where golden cannons are firing out coins and flower coins. This will appear in any world you're in other than the special one, and I think it's just a way for you to gain a few extra lives, especially if you're struggling. Alright, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment below what you thought about it, and subscribe to my channel to catch weekly videos. Also, please go follow my Instagram at CopyCatGamer. There you can leave me a suggestion, or just check out my collection. Hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!